From Shipshewana, Indiana, the heart of draft horse country, it's the 6-Horse Hitch World Championships. Brought to you by Express Ranches. With your hosts, Pam Minnick and Joe Barron.
It's another exciting year of competition at the 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals. We're once again in Shipshewana, Indiana, where we'll see the top 15 hitches in the world. Top 5 Belgians, Percherons, and Clydesdales. With me again is Joe Barron, who's not only been a judge here at the finals, but he's also been a multiple-time competitor. And Joe, these hitches have literally gone from coast to coast and border to border, chasing points to get here. It's a prestigious event. What does it take?
It takes horses that can withstand that long year. It takes athletic horses to gather the points, and it takes drivers to know how far they can push their horses. And we're going to see horses that are really going to be shown very well here tonight.
It's going to be exciting. This is the 35th anniversary. 35 years they've been having this event. You've been to a few of them. How has it changed?
You know, in the last 10 to 15 years, it has really grown in popularity, especially with the take of social media as well. The horses have definitely become way more athletic than they have been in the past years, and we've seen driver skills definitely honed. We have 3 of the national champions for their respected breeds here tonight, and we're going to see a heck of a show.
Now, you've been a driver here at the finals. You know what's going on behind their minds. This is round 3, the last chance to win the championship. What does it take?
Well, it's a plan from the very beginning. Being a 3 days, they have to have a good drive all 3 days. They're trying to guess what they did on the first and the second night. But with the finals here tonight, with the final night, they're going to go ahead and come up with a game plan.
And push the envelope, possibly. Let's meet the drivers.
Clydes are they're good for kids, good for older people. You can still get them, they still got the spirit, but when they're back in the barn, you know, my youngest is 6 and she can walk them around, and they stand with their head at the door and she pets them, and it's just their personality. But when it's time to, you know, go show, they're all show too. The Clydes are good for families, I think. I give my family tons of credit because they do a lot for me. We kind of do it as a family. All my daughters and my son, and they spend a lot of time cleaning stalls and helping hook, and so yeah, it's definitely a dedication, and I appreciate that. I've never been a part of this finals. I've drove Percherons and Belgians, Clydes before, but it's been 10, 15 years since I've been involved. So yeah, it was cool to be here. A lot of energy in there. One of the best energies that I've been involved with.
With some help from friends and stuff, we just started, you know, getting more aggressive, and we were able to make it the first year, you know, 3 years ago, and we just been basically traveling the country and meeting people and just having a great time. We went out west this year. We went to Minnesota and then went up to Brandon, Manitoba, and then went to Wisconsin. So we were gone for 5 weeks, but it was incredible. I mean, it was like going home, driving home from Wisconsin. It was kind of bittersweet. You know, it's time to go home, but it was just a great time. You know, I've always been Clydes. I'm just partial to the Clydes. They're just so majestic to me.
Brett and Annette are very committed to this, to the breed and to the hitching, and they're starting to get into the breeding more than they had been before, and they love it. Like, the foaling at home and the breeding part of it is really big especially for Annette and Brett, but I think the long-term goal is to raise foals as well as hitching, and they get a lot of enjoyment out of that, and they're very committed as far as trying to, you know, support the breed and build it up in the best way we can. It's been a very successful year for us. We had our World Show in Brandon, Manitoba. and we had a very good show there. Our 3-year-old stallion won the stallion cart and the jackpot, and he was involved in 7 of the 9 world championships that we brought home. And so the young horses we're driving are helping us out a lot and doing a good job, so we have that to look forward to when they mature and grow up a bit. When the curtain opens up and you enter, the hair on your neck are on end, and it's just, the adrenaline is through the roof, and the crowd brings energy like you've never felt before. It's amazing.
I did not grow up with horses, so for me this is unbelievable what we've been able to do. I don't think a lot of people have probably done it. 5 of the 6 are either home-raised mares or directly from the right lead mare. We did not raise, but she came from a mare that we did raise. We bought her back. I think we even got maybe even a little bit more power sitting at home. We got a couple of 3- and 4-year-olds that are on pasture right now. That the one, so we haven't been home a lot this summer, but we watched them come trotting up to water one morning, and I thought, boy, I maybe made a mistake not trying to get her broke out and maybe get her used a little bit this year. So I'm super excited for what's to come. So when we came into the ring, just the lights being down low and the music, it was definitely, it energized. Like the mares just grabbed hold and went, and we kind of had a few problems there in the first corner, but I think I relaxed, they relaxed, and the drive got better as we went.
I can't remember how many generations since we moved to Canada, but yeah, my grandpa did the whole family tree thing right back to Scotland and Ireland, and yeah, home of the Clydesdales. We raised 5 of the 6 of them, broke them, shoe them, do the whole process. It's been incredible to do the whole thing and just see it all come together.
We'll meet the Belgians when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to the 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals as we meet the drivers. It's a strong group of Belgians.
I'm back to my roots. I have Belgians again and enjoyed the Clydes. I've been here with all 3 breeds, and it's an amazing experience to do different breeds, and they all have their own little quirks about them, and they're all, they each have something better than the other one, and it's a fun challenge. So Gail and Tim are from Unity, Saskatchewan. Last fall they wanted me to take the hitch on, and it's been a really good partnership, and we enjoy. They try to come to as many shows. They can't make it all the time. I think they farm 15,000 acres or something in Saskatchewan, and it's a bit of a distance back and forth. So they come when they can and just really enjoy the horses. It was extremely good. It was pretty much everything I wanted. We made the redrive, and they gave it their all, and so yeah, I was very, very happy with round 1. We got lots of compliments from other exhibitors and spectators and stuff last night, so pretty rewarding to make the redrive at an event like this.
Well, as anybody knows me, I'm about as competitive as it comes, and so getting between the lines is the ultimate goal. This season, there was an opportunity. We did a few extra shows so that and the boss man, he he really wanted to make an effort to try to qualify and see if we can get it done this year. I mean, I get nervous at every show I go to because, and I always say, people ask, oh, are you nervous? I mean, you've been doing it forever. And I'm like, yeah, because I care. There's no show that you go to, especially, I don't know if it's the drapes, when they open up the drapes and then all of a sudden, you know, it's real. And you head in there and then all of a sudden the crowd appears and it just gets your blood pumping. The horses gets their blood pumping, which sometimes, you know, it's hard to simulate at home. So, you know, because they feel that adrenaline from the crowd and the music pumping and the lighting and you know, it's like anybody, when you're in that type of atmosphere, you kind of lift your game up a little bit.
It's definitely a race to get here, that's for sure. And I mean, this is where you want to compete, you know, where all the top guys are at. But yeah, it's a big honor to be here. Went to a lot of shows this year. Had fun doing it. So we started off with a different lead team. We switched to a young pair of 3-year-olds. So it was a little rough getting them going again, but hopefully they're doing better here. We just kind of had an all right season. I guess maybe that's why we changed up leaders in the middle, just to kind of break it up. But yeah, I mean, we've done all right, and you know, we're just here to compete. Our left swing horse is probably one of the best known ones, Kara. But we just put a couple 3-year-olds in there, and I guess our left lead horse is definitely a future horse to look at.
The lead pair is pretty seasoned now. They're a pair of 7-year-olds that we've had in the lead for a few years now, so I feel comfortable with them. We have a new wheel horse in there this year that is still a little bit challenging to get a little bit used to him. The few shows we went to with him, and then in the swing we've been putting in a couple 4-year-olds here and there, trying to figure it out with the one other swing horse we've had in there for a few years. So throughout the summer we were kind of hooking different combinations and things, but we kind of got them where we want them now, and yeah, they're driving pretty good. I have expectations to try to repeat as a top Belgian hitch and hopefully even have a run at the top. But the more we can showcase these animals and put them out in front of the public, and you know, we got to be careful on how we do everything and how we conduct ourselves, but it's growing, and I'm just excited for the future. I try to do everything I can to help the industry grow.
So this is our first time qualifying for the finals. My first time and Don's first time. Don's been showing for about 30 some years, and he kind of got serious the last couple years. I've been with him for almost be 2 years in January. So made some big strides from where he was to now, and he's having a good time and we're having a good time. They bought 2 horses, harness and everything just to do the parade, and it kind of went on from there, and he's then since done it by himself, and just a true passion for him. He's 82 years old and goes at it every day like it's nothing, and he's having the time of his life. He loves it, like that's his time to shine. He gets a big thrill out of riding in there and competing with everyone else here.
Powerful Percherons when we return. Stay with us.
With each generation comes opportunity. With each opportunity comes great responsibility. For as our youth, the youngest generations truly are our future. The future of our towns, our states, our country, and for that matter, the whole world.
Welcome back to the 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals as we meet the drivers. Here's the qualifiers in the Percheron division.
It'll get your blood pumping. I know last night when we pulled back in there was an outfit sitting beside me that was these first finals he's ever made, and I said, well, how was it? He said, well, it was a little rough to start with. I said, yeah, but you got no better feeling when you park in here and there's 15 other hitches in here. I said, first or last. I said, you have to be proud and you have to be happy. To build a hitch, it takes a lot of time and effort. I said, and you look at a lot of horses. But like I said, a few years ago, we tried to buy a horse with, you know, might not always buy the best horse at the sale or the best horse that you see, but you look for other features in that horse. You look for how he'll travel, because we do a lot of traveling. I said, if you put a horse on there that don't travel well, he's not going to last long. I said, you need a horse that travel well, eat well. I was fortunate enough to win the Classic Series a couple of times with the exact same outfit, like never changed one thing. That bunch of horses I hauled, I said, I'll probably never be a lucky enough person to ever have a group of horses like that. You could put them on the trailer, and I swear you could haul them, I don't know how many miles, unload them, show them, and they give you everything they had. When I look at a horse, I like to see how the horse is eating. If he's at a sale, whatever, how he's eating, how he's taking the pressure. Because if you get horses that can't eat on the road, can't take the pressure, he ain't gonna last you long, and you've maybe spent a lot of money on him.
I grew up on a farm that my ancestors settled in 1872 in central Iowa. So there's been horses and sparrows there ever since. And you know, to my great-grandfather, to my grandfather, my great-grandfather Ross, my grandfather Dick, my father Paul, my brothers, my aunts and uncles, you know, all intertwined in this, and so that helps keep it a family thing for us as doing it even for profession. We try to keep that definitely in perspective, that that's important, very important. You know, even though it's your job, it's still, family's very important. Those that come before you or around you, you try to make them proud, but you always put your best effort in, and you know, and sometimes when things don't go to plan, you know, you just gotta hold your head high and know that you did your best you could in those circumstances, and you learn from it, and move on. As a driver, and you do a profession, you know, you have great horses and stuff. You put a lot of pressure. Sometimes you can't put pressure on yourself to think you always have to do well, and despite your best efforts, it doesn't always work out that way. They're horses. They're not a, you know, an engine that, you know, you tighten this or that, or put this turbo on it, or these injectors that it's going to perform a certain way. So that's the beauty of it. So it makes you appreciate too when you do well too, a little bit more that it did go well, and puts things in perspective sometimes when they don't go well.
Last year, because of an injury, I ended up not being able to make it to the finals with the hitch, but we still produced it. So it was actually a lot of fun to just come and produce the show and kind of only wear one hat. But this year we were fortunate enough to qualify again, and so had to switch hats midday and go show the six last night. And there's nothing like it. When you get to compete at this level, there really isn't a feeling like it. We've been competing with a number of different horses in our six throughout the year. We actually just picked up a couple new horses. My lead team is brand new. I've only had one for about 3.5 weeks and the other for about 2 weeks. But they're going really good for us. We were really pleased to be able to have those available to us. The whole group is just a really nice, mature group, even though they're fairly young, but we're pleased with how they're going, and especially they've just kind of dialed it in here the last couple weeks, and we're just really happy to have them.
Shipshewana feels like my second home. You know, we show here quite a bit. The finals have been here the last few years, and you know, it's not the biggest arena, but it's just comfortable for me. I don't know. The concrete walls, they make it feel bigger and easier to drive in, and I don't know, it's just a real comforting thing to me to show here, you know. So I've had some success, and I really like the place, honestly. The facility's great, you know, the people are great, and it's just a great place to be. Superstar of our bunch would definitely be Ellie, the left lead mare. She has been with me every finals I've won. A lot of times they don't last that long as far as their show career, and she's really came through, and she's definitely one special one for us. Mr. Ricketts just loves the industry. He's been kind of in and out of it a couple times, and he keeps coming back because he loves the people, he loves the horses. You know, he wants the horses on his ranch, and he wants a competitive hitch like we have. So it's been great. We started breeding some more mares, and we're having some babies, so that's kind of exciting for us coming up in the future.
I am very proud of this hitch. Probably, I would say probably the best I've ever had. I don't know that they're there yet, but they're probably the most talented horses I've ever had. All 6 of them just perform at a high level, and just couldn't be more proud of my horses. Last year to this year was a big jump in that category as far as the horses drove a lot better the last couple months, and they drove good the beginning of the year, but I did a lot of switching and stuff. They're very young, and they're trying to please me every day, and so it's been interesting here the last while, just watching them come on and win the Governor's Cup at Ohio, and having some highlights here just the last couple of months. So it's been very, as a horseman, very rewarding to watch this group compared to last year or other years. They're very talented. The horses are capable of winning any given day.
We'll be back with the final go-round at the 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals in just a moment.
The Shipshewana Flea Market is open every Tuesday and Wednesday. Like shopping for treasures and deals? You'll love getting outdoors to shop the nearly 700 vendors. The Shipshewana Flea Market has it all. Items for your home, antiques, clothing, collectibles, and that perfect something for your pet. And don't miss the antique auctions every Wednesday. Bid on thousands of items from pickers from all over. To learn more and for vendor information, visit ShipshewanATradingPlace.com.
Welcome back to the 6-Horse Hitch World Finals.
This is the third and final go-round. The envelopes are sealed. How has it gone so far, and what's the strategy?
The strategy for the drivers is they're going to try to figure out where they're at on points, and they're going to try to either play it safe by staying ahead of the game, or they're going to go ahead and push the envelope. They're going to go ahead and push their horses to the limit if they think that they have to get ahead of another hitch who might have a few less points than they do right now.
There will be 5 heats with 3 hitches in each heat. There will probably be a couple of drive-offs as well. Well, here we go with the first of 5 heats, and leading into the arena, making not his first appearance, but many times here, Greg Rowe with ANC Belgians.
Yeah, Greg Rowe is actually a past champion with Gray Perch and Gildings. And this is a great bunch of mares, and they blend in really nice with that color of wagon they have.
It's owned by Angela Wyatt. Next into the arena, Freeman Yoder. He's been here several years with the High Point Clydesdales, owned by Brett and Annette Fielding in Hooper, Utah.
Yeah, that bunch of Clydes, they sure can move.
And a past champion, Dean Woodbury at the lines of the Blue Ribbon Days Percherons, owned by the Day and Clevey families and Stefan Dittmar.
Yes, this is probably one of our more popular hitches here on social media, and that always stand out with that yellow wagon, and Dean does a great job with them.
Now each heat will have a hitch of Belgians, Percherons, and Clydesdales. We can't say enough about the local sponsors here in Shipshewana. ANC Belgians is sponsored by Yoder's Meat and Cheese, and Blue Ribbon Days is sponsored by Country Roads Fabrics.
Yeah, the sponsorship and Shipshewana has here with these businesses, without them, you're not going to have this caliber of a show. It's a great community.
As we see ANC Belgians come around, what can you say about this group that Greg has put together?
Okay, this is a nice pair of Belgian mares here that ANC is driving. I've always been very impressed with his lead team, and Greg has always kind of been one that kind of goes after it a little bit. I would like to see him continue to charge on a little bit throughout it, but I know he does have a couple younger ones in the lead.
And then Freeman Yoder gets a lot out of these High Point Clydesdales.
Yeah, the Clydesdale program, and I would say High Point has definitely kind of started to tell everybody in the Clyde industry and in the draft horse industry, the Clydes are here and the Clydes are coming for you. And this is a Hitch that's doing it.
Their owner, Brett Fielding, and his wife, Annette. Brett is up there on the box with Freeman.
Yeah, he is. I mean, true care and compassion for these horses. They're not just an animal. They are definitely a member of the family and the Fielding family.
Freeman told me that they're starting to breed more and more so that hopefully some of their homebreds will make it into the Hitch.
Yeah, and that's an accomplishment that we don't see in the show ring, but it sure is a sense of pride. And I think that's why we see the crowd full here tonight, is because we see a lot of the local people here at one point either raised or trained some of these horses to come to these current sales.
And Blue Ribbon Days, I think they're a back-to-back champion and several times champion. Dean Woodbury, of course, an excellent driver.
One thing I can say about Dean is that if you're going to get past Dean, you're going to have to do your homework. And Dean is not going to make mistakes. Dean is going to drive every ounce of every horse that he has. And like I said, you are going to have to beat Dean, and that is a very tough thing to do.
As the hitches line up and the judge goes around, what is he looking for?
Well, the judge is walking around looking for the fit of the harness, looking for, make sure that there's been no interfering with the horses with their shoes. We don't want to see any harm come to the horses, obviously. We also want to see that they're standing with good presence. We want to see that they're behaving well. And then when they back, we want to make sure that they back freely and comfortably.
Well, I think this was a beautiful group to start heat number 1 with our ANC Belgians, High Point Clydesdales, and Blue Ribbon Days Percherons. This is the second of 5 heats, heat number 2 being led off by Hammersmith Belgians, Jason Hansberger at the lines.
Yeah, Jason Hansberger here is, I believe, 2018, he was a reserve champion in the finals.
Second into the arena, TF Clydesdales. This is a new hitch into the 6-horse hitch World Finals. It's driven by Jake Bauer.
Yep, it's first time for TF Clydes to be here, but I do know it's a 5th generation family breeding of Clydes.
It's owned by Steve and Becky Feebold and Jake and Katie Bauer. And they're from Iowa. And last into the arena is last year's Reserve World Champion, Red Oak Farms, driven by Bud Miller and owned by Wishy Bush.
And Bud is no stranger to the ring here at the finals. Numerous times he's been a champion.
Jason Hansberger, Reserve World Champion, as you mentioned, in 2018. What do you see in these Belgians that Craig Hammersmith owns?
You know, one of the things that they're constantly having to do in this industry is you're having to purchase horses to try to maintain and try to improve, because if you don't, somebody else is going to. And I know that Hammersmith has really gone after purchasing some new horses, some longer bodies, some longer necks. And Jason really kind of put these together, and they started coming on very strong at the midpoint of the show season.
And then TF Clydes, isn't it great to see somebody that you haven't even really seen in the 6-horse hitch competition in a while come to the finals? That's got to be such a proud accomplishment for them.
Yeah, I know. I visited with Jake and Katie here right before the show started. They were getting their horses ready, and we kind of joked around about the curtains opening up and coming through the first night. And I just asked, I said, you know, being here before, I said, how was your stomach? And he said, oh man, I was nervous. And it is definitely something that there's no other feeling like it. And he definitely said that the second night went a lot better, and tonight he is ready to roll on, he said.
Well, and we haven't seen black Clydesdales since Express was showing them a few years ago, and so it's really hard to put those together. But you know what he told me? It's not if you breed them yourself.
Yep, and that definitely goes back to that 5 generations of breeding there. And not only black Clydesdales, but black Clyde mares with some athletic ability that they have.
Have to look again at Red Oak.
Bud's got him charging on here right now. His hands are full. There's no slowing them down here right now.
He thinks that this is the best group of horses he's ever driven.
Yeah, I can see why he would say that. They are definitely an athletic bunch. But as you commented earlier, they haven't been together as long as probably some of these other hitches. And at moments, you can kind of tend to see that a little bit.
Let's talk about our local sponsors. Hammersmith Belgians is sponsored locally by Weather Pro Insulation. TF Clydesdales is sponsored locally by Atlas Horsepower Solutions. And Red Oak Farms is sponsored locally by Topeka Livestock Auction.
And I'm guessing a few of these horses were purchased at Topeka Livestock Auction.
We'll excuse heat number 2, and we'll be back with heat number 3 in just a moment. Stay with us.
It's hard to put into words what a community can mean to a business. Another year has passed and TLA continues to grow thanks to the support and determination of many. From consigners and buyers to our hardworking team, Topeka Livestock is what it is because of its people. This fall is going to be fun. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome back to the 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals in Shipshewana, Indiana. This is heat number 3, and who's leading us off? This is Sherwood Groves, Belgians, owned by Don Sherwood. Next in, South Creek Clydesdales, Tim and Mary Myers. Tim is at the lines. And Young Living, they were the 2021 world champions. Tim Sparrow at the lines of the Young Living Percherons. Let's talk about Sherwood Groves. They're new to the 6-Horse Hitch Finals.
They just really started pushing here this last year or two to try to make it into the finals here. It's nice to see them here. They put together a bunch of young horses. They are starting to develop well for them.
The Hitch is based in Pennsylvania. What a leap of faith it was for Don Sherwood to put together a group of horses at this level.
Yeah, that's definitely not an easy task to do. You go to all these sales, and when you're trying to pick one or two and you think you know what you want, you get it home and the horse doesn't have the same heart or the same capability. That is definitely a difficult task, and they sure seem like they're up to it.
And this is the 3rd year for Tim Myers of South Creek Clydesdales to be in the finals. And you just have to admire the heart of this guy. 3 years ago, he felt like he was out of his league, but he's learned from all the drivers. It's such a welcoming industry. And he's really stepped up his game, don't you think?
Yes, he has. I mean, one thing that I would definitely like to look and point out is their wagon. I know that's a newer wagon from when they first came here, and that wagon is beautiful. Tim has done a nice job of driving, and he continues to drive and charge on those Clydes to give them a little more capability.
And then, of course, we've got our Young Living Percherons with Tim Sparrow on the lines and his wife Brittany up there. He is really having to pull back to get them slowed down in the corner.
That Young Living bunch, I don't think that they would be a very easy bunch to hold on to, and Tim does a very nice job of that.
But talk about the success of this program and Tim as a driver.
Yeah, you know, Tim, when he was very young, he was working for Ames, and he's another one that's kind of branched off and taken off and done very well. He's definitely a very capable driver that between all the mentors that he's had, whether it's family or whether it was Travis Shaw at Ames, he has definitely put together and maintained a championship 6-horse hitch here. And he's going to be one to watch here tonight.
Reminding you, this is the 3rd of 3 go-rounds, and they don't know what's happened. The envelopes have been sealed. But people in the audience have speculated that Young Living has been up towards the top 3 in each of the previous nights.
Yeah, that's the fun part about this. I mean, these drivers, they kind of have an idea, but nobody knows for sure until the final envelopes opened up here tonight after this is over.
Sherwood Groves Belgians is sponsored locally by Murhow Trailers. South Creek Clydesdales is sponsored locally by Stutzman Power Equipment. And Young Living, of course, is sponsored by their own sponsor, Young Living Essential Oils. Well, the gate is open. We'll excuse heat number 3. Here we go with heat number 4. And we start off with another new hitch to the finals. This is Johnson Belgians, but the driver is not new. That's Gary Miller at the lines. And he's from Shipshewana. He's got a lot of local fans.
Yeah, Gary's here, and Gary has definitely been a driver to contend with.
Next out, another new entry into the World Finals, or new qualifier, McEwen Farms. Trevor McEwen.
Yeah, Trevor, I visited with him earlier. This is his first time here. And I asked him if he was nervous. He said not as long as he had his horses with him. He said if he walked out in the crowd here by himself, he'd be nervous. But he said as long as he has those 6 horses in front of him, he's ready to go.
And last year's world champions, here is Ross Hansberger at the lines of Jackson Fork Percherons.
And Ross looks like he's going for it tonight.
And that's his wife Nicole up on the box with him. Of course, Mr. Joe Ricketts, the owner of Jackson Fork Percherons, one of the reasons that we have our series Gentle Giants on TV, because he's passionate about the draft horse industry as well. Ross, I think he's a 4-time champion of the 6-horse hitch finals.
And the way they're driving here tonight, it's understandable.
Let's go back to Johnson's with Gary Miller. Gail Guerin is the owner of that hitch, and they're from Canada.
Yeah, Gary has been taking these, and I know this is a mix of mares and geldings here in this bunch. And Gary definitely has some long-necked horses here moving on, and the Johnson Belgian hitch should be very proud of what they're putting forward. And I do believe he's been on the redrive the first 2 nights.
And of course, McEwen Farms, Trevor McEwen.
Yeah.
Interesting thing, I think he told me they built that wagon.
Yes, I visited with him about that. So if you notice the wagon, some of the hardware on that is very unique. They did build the wagon from scratch, and that was a family project. And just a smile and the pride in their face when they were talking about building the wagon. Not only that, 5 of the 6 that they're driving here tonight are home-raised horses. So they have 60 or 70 Clydes up in Canada. But 5 of the 6 that they are driving right now are ones that they raised, and not very many hitches here can say that.
That's just amazing. So for him to drive through that curtain here at the finals has got to be just such a sense of accomplishment, from the wagon to the horses. Just to be here, no matter where they place, they can say we're a world finalist.
Yes, they definitely can, and they are driving on here tonight. I would say the 5 Clyde hitches that are here this year, they are definitely basically telling the rest of the draft industry that we are going to charge on and we are going to come for you guys. Because these Clyde hitches are definitely getting stronger and stronger every year. Over the past 35 years, we have seen Belgian champions, Clyde champions, and Percheron champions. Percherons are definitely, I would say, some of the stronger ones right now.
Well, what did you think of this heat number 4?
All 3 of them drove on really hard. I was very impressed, especially with Trevor driving there for McEwen there. He, for a first-year hitch here, for a home-raised hitch, a home-built wagon, man, they are true champions.
Well, we'll dismiss heat number 4, and we'll be back with the final heat before the drive-offs in just a minute. Stay with us here at the 6-Horse Hitch World Finals.
Kitchen, bath, home office, we have the cabinets at Country Cabinets and Home Furnishings in downtown Napanee. Our locally made cabinets give you the custom look without the custom price. Unsure on how the cabinets will look? Our 20,000 square foot showroom will give you plenty of ideas for any part of your home. Offering a variety of colors and designs to choose from, our talented team of designers will make it easy for you to make your house into your home. Call or stop in today and shop locally at Country Cabinets and Home Furnishings, downtown Napanee.
Welcome back to the 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals. This is the final heat before the redrives, and we find out who is the world champion. We're being led in by Burger Barn Belgians, Mark Hotsettler at the lines. Jason and Celeste Hill are the owners, and they're from Canada. Next into the arena, Resting Spirit Clydesdales. They're a new entry into the World Finals, or a new qualifier. Eric Guyman is the driver. And here might be one of the crowd favorites, Express Percherons, Josh Minchell. Of course, Josh and his wife Laura have been very instrumental in putting on the finals here in Shipshewana. Those Percherons are driving hard.
Yeah, Express looks really good here right now tonight.
Going back to Burger Barn Belgians, Jason and Celeste Hill from Ontario, Canada. Mark has really had a great year with these horses. He was injured earlier in the year, but the horses are fine. It's him that had a challenge.
Yeah, Mark was injured, and it just shows how great the draft horse community is. Other exhibitors were there to help him, and I believe some of them allowed him to recover at their places as well. So that was quite nice to see that. Mark looks really good here tonight.
And Resting Spirit Stables, Clydesdales, it's owned by Rick and Donna Farrow. They are from Ohio.
Yeah, Eric Guyman, he's had this bunch here for a couple years now, and I would say something about this, that if you ever walk up next to Resting Spirit Clydes, they are big. They are probably some of the biggest Clydes that I've ever seen put together. In fact, I think one or two of these were purchased here at Topeka Livestock Auction here this last year, and they're a very big, powerful pair of geldings.
The one gelding was the World Champion 2023 Clydesdale Gelding at the World Show in Canada, and they also took the 2023 Supreme Clydesdale 6-horse hitch at the North American Clydesdale Fall Classic, so they've done well within their breed category as well. Now let's talk about Express Ranch's Percherons. Of course, driven by Josh Mitchell, owned by Bob Funk. They're from Yukon, Oklahoma. They were the reserve champions a few years ago, but last year, because of Josh's injury, they missed the finals. But other than that, they've qualified either with the Clydesdales or Percherons every year for the last decade. What do you see in these Percherons?
I would have to say that Josh's bunch right now is definitely one of the bunches with the more uniform headsets. He's driving on. I would say that right now Josh is maybe making sure that he's not making any mistakes and kind of holding on to maybe something where he's looking at a point lead, maybe trying to get in a redrive without making any mistakes, but he's definitely doing well here tonight. Those horses are athletic. Express is one of the hitches here, I would say has a very complete unit.
Burger Barn's Belgians is sponsored locally by Countrywood Products. Resting Spirit Stables Clydesdales is sponsored locally by Richard Squire Pallet. And Express Ranch's Percherons is sponsored locally by Chupp Auctions and Real Estate. Shipshewana, Indiana is the heart of draft horse country. Joe, talk a little bit about the hospitality and the horses that are actually bred in this area.
You know, a number of the horses have actually probably come from this area, but they've also been sold through this area through like events such as the Topeka Livestock Auction, Gordyville, different things like that. And the amount of horses are growing here, and then to come back here and show at the finals, it definitely breeds a lot of excitement here in Shipshewana.
What's fun to me is when you see up and down the aisles of the stalls of the horses, a lot of the Amish people from the area come back to see horses that they've actually bred and sold.
Yeah, there's a lot of pride in that, and there should be. To grow an athletic horse that can make it to the finals, I mean, what prouder way to be?
Yeah, there's a lot of, for sure, Belgians that are bred in this community here, and Percherons too, but there's a lot of Belgians bred here, and the enthusiasm that has been brought forth by this community. In the autograph line last night, there was two new sponsors that right away, we're doing this again next year. I mean, that was a rush riding out on that wagon, and you know, we're going to do it again next year. So that's exciting, you know, just people in this community that like it.
This community definitely supports this and welcomes all the 6-horse hitch competitions throughout the year with open arms, but they particularly get behind this one. I mean, we have sponsors catering in meals and bringing meals to the exhibitors that they sponsor, and it's just a lot of fun, and it really brings a lot of people in to enjoy what we do, because we get to do it throughout the year, but then these people that kind of live vicariously through us get to get up close and personal and actually be a part of a team and be behind the scenes and seeing everything that goes on. So it's a lot of fun for them, and we're just happy that they enjoy it.
It blows your mind when you see the local support, and you know, you see all the locals come back and they want to see at your stalls and talk to you and look at your horses, and a lot of them, you know, they've never even been to a horse show, and they hear through their friends that, you know, Gary and Bud and some of us local guys, just go see what they do. It's, you know, our sponsor is a prime example. Levon Yoder has an insulating company here local, and we were golfing one day, and my cousin, the Chupp, said, Levon, why don't you sponsor a hitch this year? And He said, well, what is it? What do they do? Well, so we kind of explained it, and he said, you know what, sign me up, but I want Gary's Hitch. And he's loving it. He's already said next year he's doing it again.
Oh, it's like no other show you can go to. It's just the level of excitement in that arena, and the people watching most of them know what they're watching, and they're from this area, and they raise the horse. You know, we're right in the heart of draft horse country, and yeah, it's very rewarding. Over all the years I've been showing, it was usually out of state from Indiana or whatever, so yeah, it's very different and very fun. They really enjoy having us too.
Just the bright lights here and the way Josh and Laura and Express Crew puts everything together. It's just an honor, whether you win, you're first or last, just to be a part of it. It's so rewarding.
We'll be back with the drive-offs, then learn who this year's world champion will be. Well, the 5 heats are behind us, and there is always a drive-off, maybe even 2. Do you have any predictions?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to see the judge probably look at bringing in another 1 or 2 drive-offs for a closer inspection. I think I have an idea where he's going to be, but depending on where he was looking at the time and where I was looking at the time, it's all going to depend on his view at that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, give them a nice, huge round of applause. They can hear you behind that curtain. We got to get these horses fired up. Bring them in, Shipshewana.
As the judge has called for not 1 but 2 drives, here's the first. Who do we have?
We have Hammersmith and Johnson's coming in here, 2 Belgian hitches. Both very strong contenders, both past champions or reserve champions.
And Blue Ribbon Days, the Percherons with Dean Woodbury at the lines. And a newcomer to the 6-horse hitch finals, Sherwood Farms Belgians.
This has got to be a little nerve-wracking.
Well, 3 Belgians and 1 Percheron in this redrive. And of course, 2 of the hitches are new to the finals or new competitors, although Gary Miller at the lines of Johnson has been in this position many times before, and he's from Shipshewana. But let's go around from the beginning with Hammersmith. What do you see about this group?
Hammersmith definitely has a very strong, very big, powerful gelding bunch. One thing I really like about Hammersmith bunch is he definitely has some long-bodied Belgian geldings there, and that left-hand lead horse of his definitely attracts my eye.
And then Johnson's, ones that Gary's driving, and his Belgians are breathing down the neck of Hammersmith.
Yeah, Gary's going to use every inch that he can to make sure those horses are showing off. And there's definitely another group. He's got a little bit of a mix with mares and geldings, but they are a strong bunch, and they are really coming on here.
Since we've been covering the finals for the last 10 years, I've never seen a finals without Dean Woodbury in it and the Blue Ribbon Days Percherons. Here they are back. How can you have that kind of longevity as a driver?
As a driver and as the horses, it's definitely care. It's definitely making sure that you know how to take care of your animals, making sure you know how to take care of yourself, because they go to a lot of shows, not only for the horses, but for the people as well. So they have to make sure that they are taking care of themselves.
That's his daughter, Allie, up there on the box with him, and she's a very accomplished driver herself.
Sherwood Groves is definitely ending here this final week on a high note.
Of course, John Sherwood, the owner, and he's right up there on the box with him.
Yeah, and I love to see the owners on the box, and why shouldn't they be? The owners, they're the ones that are putting forth their pride and their passion in it. Gary's always a driver I've shown against for many years that he's definitely going to be one that he's going to push you, just like Dean coming in here. they're going to push you guys. Basically, you're going to have to be on your best.
Well, that's redrive number 1. And the announcer said that there's going to be 4 more coming in for redrive number 2.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more Percherons coming in this next redrive based off of how they drove earlier today. Now the drivers can go out and rest, the horses can rest, and they can all take a breath and relax.
It's all in the hands of the judges now for that group. This is redrive number 2.
Say hello once again to the Young Living Hitch.
You were right. There's Percherons. Here is Young Living, the 2021 world champion.
And they had a very impressive drive. I would have been surprised if they weren't here, but Young Living bunch here, they are definitely a tough bunch to beat.
We're going to go to the Jackson Fork branch.
And Jackson Fork Percherons, last year's world champion. This is a tough competition.
Yeah, I know Ross and Tim are really good friends, and I know they're both going to push each other here tonight.
Again, Ross Hansberger and his wife Nicole up on the seat of that wagon. And Express Percherons. This has got to be exciting for Josh, especially having sat out last year's finals.
Yeah, from, like you said, from going almost a whole year without being in it, it does take you a little while to get caught back up.
And last into the arena, Bud Miller at the lines of Red Oak Farms, last year's reserve world champion. These 4 hitches in this arena right now will be very evenly matched, and it's going to be splitting hairs, isn't it?
Yeah, this is going to be one tough redrive here. Like you say, 4 of the best here right now here tonight. It's going to all come down to one horse backing off at the wrong time, or one horse just slowly being out of place, or somebody just pushing it just a little harder than somebody else. And even room comes into play here a little bit tonight. With 4 in the redrive, they could end up running out of space to drive here in a little bit. I see Josh just gave himself plenty of room, but maybe 1 or 2 of these other hitches might run out of room with their motion that they need for their horses. Yeah, we're seeing the drivers definitely leaning back and pulling some of them back pretty hard here. So we'll see if they can get enough room to show off to their best potential or not.
And that's what they want to do. They want to be able to let that horse show off, but they don't want to get too close to the wagon in front of them. Having 4 in the arena is a challenge.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, you have 4 hitches here, all 4 top caliber hitches, but somebody might be going just a little bit faster, a little bit slower. And the gate that your horses are used to driving at, it might not be the gate that you're getting to perform at here tonight. And you have to basically, on the fly, you have to be able to adjust. And if you can't, you're not going to be the champion.
All the drivers talk about this arena. It's a little bit smaller than some of the arenas that they drive into, and you've got to be really conscientious of that.
Yeah, you do, but all of these drivers, all 15 of these drivers are here for a reason, and I think every one of them is capable of doing that.
The level of skill at these teamsters, the drivers of these hitches, is just amazing to me. The fact that they can handle 6 lines, the weight of the lines alone, we haven't even talked about the driving skill at all. You've been at this level. How fatigued are you at the end of a drive-off?
There's a lot of times where you'll hear a driver say, I couldn't do one more lap, and they're not joking. When they pull in, that's it. They're done, their arms are done, their hands are done. As they're holding those lines, they're gripping those lines as tight as they possibly can, and you have muscle failure, you have muscle fatigue if they're pulling and driving that hard, and it sure looks like that's what we're seeing here tonight in this drive-off.
Is it just me, or is this judge asking for a few more laps than we normally see in a drive-off?
Yeah, it's a championship. That's where we're going. We're going to drive all of them as hard as we can, and I think that's what he did here on this final drive.
We'll crown this year's 6-horse hitch world champion when we return.
With each generation comes opportunity. With each opportunity comes great responsibility. For as our youth, the youngest generations truly are our future. the future of our towns, our states, our country, and for that matter, the whole world.
You are looking at the top 15 six-horse hitches in the world. The ones coming into the arena right now, those are the folks that we've been talking about out back. They never get the recognition they deserve. Hardly ever do they get their names mentioned. These are the families that have the harness, the hitches, the horses in tip-top show-ready performance quality. It is a lifestyle, it's a way of life, and it is a true passion. So these are the crews and the families that put it all together. They're coming out here for this moment of truth when we find out who are your next six-horse hitch world champions. Everybody sit tight.
In 15th place, TF Clydesdale's Mr. Jake Bauer at the lines. They're taking a proud 15th place home to Iowa. You know, we talk about there's over 200 members of this organization, and to be in the top 15 is really an accomplishment.
Yeah, it definitely is, and they have something to be very proud of. There are definitely 3 generations of Clyde owners on that wagon.
In 14th place, Tim Myers and South Creek Clydesdales. His wife Mary up there with them, and again, this is his 3rd year at the finals, and each year he says his goal is not to be last.
And he definitely accomplished his goal this year, and I have a feeling we're going to see him continue to come back here and probably continue to slowly work his way up the ranks. McEwen Farms here, definitely Canadian proud, and 13th place. Definitely not a bad standing at all for a homebred hitch of Clyde mares and geldings that first time here.
In 12th place, Resting Spirit Stables, another newcomer to the finals and proud of their placing, Eric Guyman.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, these guys were the champions at the Feathered Show, and this just shows you how strong of a competition we have here. Definitely very well-deserved 12th place hitch.
11th place, High Point Clydesdales with Freeman Yoder. Brett and Annette Fielding, always so proud of their breeding program and happy to be here and support Freeman and Katie and the whole group with their Clydesdales. They've merged 2 families into really one nice unit. And in 10th place, A&C Belgians, owned by Angela Wyatt, driven by Greg Rowe. They're based in Sherwood, Michigan. Angela, very proud owner. She loves these horses. Greg tells me it's her passion. Sherwood Grove's Belgians comes in 9th place, owned by Don Sherwood, driven here today by Darren Miller. They're based in Pennsylvania. And this is 8th place, Jason Hansberger with Hammersmith Belgians, longtime finalist here. I think that Jason's been driving for them for almost 15 years, I think.
And that's something, you know, to be very proud of. So that just shows the level of talent and commitment that Jason has, as well as Craig Hammersmith, to continue to go with Jason and show these Belgians throughout the country.
In 7th place, Burger Barn Belgians, Mark Hotstetler at the lines. Jason and Celeste Hill from Canada are the owners of this group. This is their 2nd year with Belgians here at the finals.
Yeah, and this is actually quite a feat for Burger Barn. You know, like you said earlier about Mark getting hurt in February, and they had to kind of sit back. They were up on points, so they didn't have to chase as much. But that's still a big task, and I know their assistant horseman, Yura Hirschberger, he continued to work the horses while Mark was healing. And to get back to the 7th place level, that is very impressive.
And in 6th place, Dean Woodbury at the lines of Blue Ribbon Days Percherons, always a top finalist here at the World Show. The Clevey family, the Day family, and Stephen Detmar have got to be proud to always turn out a great Percheron hitch.
Yes, they should be very proud of that bunch. Not only the bunch of horses, but the people that they have with this hitch, promoting the Percherons that they show, promoting the draft horse industry. The Woodbury family and the Clevey and the Day family, they've done a lot for the draft horse industry, and And this just goes to show you how tough of a show we are here today. They are 6th place today, but on any given day, they could be champions.
And coming in 5th place from right here in Shipshewana, Gary Miller driving a new hitch this year. This is Johnson Belgians, owned by Gail Guerin in Canada, but a great group of horses that he's put together for them and driven them to 5th place finish.
Yeah, as soon as Gary and Gail kind of partnered up here with this horses, everyone in the industry knew that we were going to have to really pay attention, and they have some very good horses. Gary did a nice job here tonight, and that's why he is our Belgian breed champion. And congratulations to Johnsons.
And in 4th place, Red Oak Farms, driven by Bud Miller, owned by Wishy Bush from Canada. They actually have 2 hitches on the road, but only one of them qualified for this year's finals. Bud, of course, is from Shipshewana, and he told me he did not have a great drive on the first night. That's probably why we're seeing him in 4th place.
Yeah, I would guess that Bud here, he had one heck of a drive here tonight, but like you say, I'm guessing that first night probably cost him overall on points, or otherwise he very easily could have been the overall champion here today, the way he drove tonight.
Who will be this year's 6-horse hitch world champion? The results when we return.
Welcome back to the 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals. We're down to the top 3 hitches, and they're all Percherons.
Standing at 3rd place in the world as it comes around, another nice big round of applause for the Express Ranch Percherons. And one of the biggest reasons this show happens, Mr. Josh Mitchell doing the driving. Give him a nice big round of applause as it comes around your 3rd place finish.
In 3rd place, Express Clydesdales, Josh Mitchell at the lines, owned by Bob Funk. The top 3 could have been any one of these hitches. Talk about Express.
Express has definitely always been basically, I'm going to drive and you have to beat me. I'm not going to make mistakes, and that's how tough he is. And Josh and Lauren and Bob, they've done a great job promoting and showing this 6-horse hitch. And after not showing last year from an injury, to coming back to a 3rd place finish this year is definitely shows a true commitment, not only from Bob, but from that whole Express crew.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a moment we've been waiting for 3 days now. In fact, all year for that matter. It comes down to 2. But before we recognize the reserve and the world champion, we just want to remind you that both of these beautiful 6-horse hitches and these families are dear friends, and they've both ended up in this very position multiple times. Both of these hitches you're looking at right now, both have been crowned world champion 6-horse hitches. So before we read and announce the reserve and the world champion, let's give both of these outstanding hitches the love that they deserve.
And our reserve world champion, Young Living Farms, driven by Tim Sparrow, obviously owned by the folks at Young Living Essential Oils. Could have gone either way with this hitch as well.
Yeah, you know, like I said earlier, on that redrive, I thought Ross and Tim were kind of pushing each other back and forth, and they're both very good friends. I'm sure they're both going to be very happy for each other. Today, it was Ross winning. Tomorrow, it very easily could be Tim winning with Young Living.
And as we get ready to crown the champion, I'm going to head down for a winner's interview.
As they get their beautiful world champion sashes along with their breed champion. Sasha's coming in on top on the Percheron breed as well. Pam, we're going to send it down. You're with our 5-time world champion driver.
Thank you, guys. Wow, this is like deja vu all over again. Ross Hansberger, Jackson Fork Percherons, and your entire team, congratulations. What did it take to stay at this level for another year to become back-to-back champions?
Just a lot of good people. I got a heck of a crew and great horses, and we do our best to take care of them. And we got some older horses in here that, we kind of handle with kid gloves. And, the whole season we've been going and taking care of them and trying to build up to have our best performances here. And I kind of felt like that's what we did.
As you look around Shipshewana and you see the support from this community, what do you say about these people of hosting the 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series finals here?
It's not my home, but it feels like it. It's about the second favorite place on earth to me right now. I love the place, the town, the people, the support the community gives. Everything about this place is just amazing.
As we watch these 3 go-rounds here, take us through the last 3 nights and what did you find in these horses and what set them apart?
Just their power, their animation, their heart. They just gave it their all every night. That first night, it was me and Tim in that redrive, and, when it's just 2 of you just give it your all. And last night, we were in the redrive, but I felt like that was our best drive of the whole show. And then, the last night, it's always just keep it together and don't screw it up. And we did that, fortunately.
And lastly, Mr. Ricketts, your owner, Joe Ricketts, Jackson Fork Ranches. What can you say about his commitment to this draft horse industry?
He loves it. He loves the horses. He loves the people. And he loves this town and the finals being here. And he looks forward to it, staying here in Shipshewana. His support for the industry is second to none.
And I got to ask also, because I am a girly girl, your wife, Nicole, sits up here with you. I know you've told me before what happens on the wagon stays on the wagon, but how much help is she to you?
A lot. A lot.
He's getting all teary-eyed. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2023 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals champion, Ross Hansberger, and the Jackson Fork Percherons.
We do want to congratulate the Hansberger family, the Ricketts family, and everybody that's a part of the Jackson Fork Ranch. Your 2023 Shipshewana, make sure he hears it, your world champion.
What an exciting 6-Horse Hitch Classic Series World Finals. Outstanding horses and great competition.
Yes, and as always, the fans here in Shipshewana loved it.
They certainly did. The 2024 season is already underway. For more information, visit drive6.com. We'll see you next year.